Hello, Plinkers and Crosman full auto lovers and AR trainers. Here we are back with the part one of the full reassembly of the Crosman full auto BB gun. Sorry it took me so long to put together this video. Sorry it's wobbling. There we go. The reasons for that are manifold. My two disassembly videos completely crashed my GPU on my graphics card. And just last week, I finally managed to get a full driver download and update on my PC, and everything's working fine. So now I'm confident I can upload. And anyways, also, if you notice, this is not flat dark earth anymore. I am making my zombie apocalypse build, civil unrest build, and I'm trying to do a Daniel Defense Mil Spec Plus Brown. This is an actual Daniel Defense grip, and I finally found, it took me 4 tries of spray paint, but it's pretty close. There's, yeah, even on camera you can't even tell the difference. I'm pretty satisfied with my 4th can of spray paint. So it took me a while to find the 4th can in a random hardware store, but now I might have a couple of touch-ups to do on the paint job. But yeah, so that's why it took so long. And now, sorry, there won't be any actions, but my title is Failure to Prepare is Preparation for Failure. And I was reviewing my own videos to make sure I remembered how to put in the pins I took out, and I was reviewing them. I was inspecting my pieces, all the pins, and I realized I have a couple of corrections and omissions to make regarding my disassembly video. So the first one, right off the bat, I forgot to mention that in the DPMS and the R1, you do have the barrel shim on a DPMS and R1. I was too focused on making sure you didn't lose the barrel shim inside the DPMS and the A4-P, and I forgot to mention that the barrel shim for your R1 and the DPMS is inside the barrel shroud. So it's all the way inside, right about here. This is where your barrel shim is. So when you take apart your R1 and DPMS, there is a barrel shim lodged in a recessed area right down here. So that's one thing I forgot to mention. Now about the pins, I did buy a kit, an airgun kit, pin set remover. I might edit this. A punch kit. There we go. I might not edit because it might crash my GPU. So, and I realized that I misspoke when I mentioned the size of the pins. So your pins, there aren't many pins. There's only 3 pins. The pins in these 2 pins are 3/32. The pin in the FCG is a 3/32 pin. I think I was saying 1/16, but it's 3/32. And on the extension receiver, the buffer tube, these guys are 5/32. These 2 pins here, this guy and that guy, are 5/32. This is only for the A4-P. This one's painted, and I can't get my punches through this hole, but it's not 5/32. It might be a 1/8. I'll have to get back to you guys on that. But 5/32, 5/32, 3/32 on these 2 pins. For this guy, 3/32 on this pin, 3/32 on the bolt catch release lever pin. I had trouble on this one because for some reason, I must have busted my 1/16 pin like a decade ago when I was a mechanic, and I couldn't remember. And I was when I sorted all my pins, they were all offset. So I was saying 1/16, but it was a 3/32, and I was saying 1/8, but it was a 5/32. Sorry guys, I'm babbling on. That's the other reason. I reviewed my videos and I realized that when I babble on, my hands aren't assembling and I'm just talking and I'm pointing. So I'm doing this part one so that we get all the basics out of the way, because I want you guys to be able to also, I'm doing it to help you, but also don't come post in my reassembly video that you sheared your bores or you smacked it in the wrong way, because right now, here's the other thing I realized. I was re-inspecting my pins and the left in, the right in, left out rule of thumb. And one thing about rule of thumbs is if a manufacturer comes with a specific guideline, you put the rule of thumb to the side. So as I was looking through my older videos to see which way I punched out the pins, and I was inspecting my pieces, I noticed that there is a chamfer on these two bores, and they're on the left side. So that indicates to me that this part was engineered to be punched in from the left side. So there's no right in, left out. These two pins on the upper, we're going to punch them in from the left side. Same thing for the fire control group. There is a chamfer on the left side for this hole. So we're going to punch this pin in from the left side. And along the same lines, I inspected the lower extension receiver, the buffer tube. And on this part, the chamfers are on the right side. So for the buffer tube, the extension, you're going to punch your roll pins in from the right side. These guys are going right in and they're coming left out. And the other confirmation of this, as I've been disassembling and reassembling all my Crosmans, I've noticed that the part, when they put a part number, this guy is always on the left. So if there's a part that you can flip around and rotate it and you don't know where it's gonna go, well, the part number here, like this one is this is the C213-S1. So that marking there is going to the left side, and corresponding with the chamfer that I saw on the extension tube, if you inspect your part, you're going to notice there is a little chamfer on this side. So the buffer tube, we're going right in, left out, but the 3 pins for the upper and the FCG, we're going to go left in. That's pretty much it. What I did to clean off my R1, because it was shooting 6 inches to the right, I just I used these plastic brushes, 177 and 22 gauge brushes, and I just brushed them in every single plastic hole. I brushed them in everything. I removed all the plastic bits, because on this model there was a whole bunch of plastic bits. If you watch my disassembly, I had trouble taking it apart. So I just brushed all the residue from all the seams off of all the parts with these little things. Then I did use some shop towels. I like to use shop towels. You just wipe off all the grease, wipe off all the residues of everything. So you want to get as much gunk off of everything without adding any additional particulate. The other thing before we get into the full reassembly, and in the full reassembly I'm not going to talk much, I'm just going to reassemble it. The inside of this guy, where these two screws go inside your bolt carrier group, there is rubber, some kind of rubber shim. You can see the black residue on this guy is from that rubber shim. I have a feeling that they put something like Plasti Dip or just some plastic gasket material spray. They put it in there and then they press fit this into the rubber. So I did not brush all that rubber off. I just brushed off the excess bits and all the rubber that was inside the threads. That's the only thing I cleaned, but I did leave all the excess. I did leave what I saw to be rubber inside because I didn't want this part to be loose. And that's pretty much it for my reassembly tips and tricks. We're gonna get in. Yeah, I used 0.17 caliber cleaning pads to clean out your barrel. A lot of people say you don't have to clean out air gun barrels, but considering the low power level of CO2, any dust, any gunk in your barrel is gonna deviate your BB. It's if you want to plink and have fun and have consistent results, you got to clean out your barrel. So 0.177 caliber pads, that's how I cleaned out my barrel. I did use a microfiber cloth that came with the scope. What I like to do is after I cleaned everything and I got all the black off, and when your paper towel has no black residue on it, I like to take and see, even when your paper towel is clean, if I put silicone oil on this lens cloth, it's a lens cloth. I bought a whole bunch of scopes. I have a crap ton of lens cloths, so I just take the cheapest one. I put silicone oil and I just rub everything down. I just polish it so that there's just a shine, and I find that that's all you need. You don't need to excessively lubricate anything. You just want to get a little shine on it. This is an air gun. It wasn't built for tolerances so that you're, a real 9mm bullet doesn't blow up in your face. So I did put a drop of silicone oil on the spring inside here. I put a drop of silicone oil inside where the fire selector is. I put a drop of silicone oil right down into the trigger mechanism. One drop, guys. Don't fucking dump. Oh man, I F-bombed. Nope. I might edit that. Don't dump a whole bunch of silicone in this. Just one drop at a time, and then you go through 1,000 rounds and then one more drop. You don't need to over silicone anything. And then I used the silicone on my lens cloth, and I just brushed down all the springs. I brushed down all the pins. I just gave them a little shine. And the only part I put excessive lubricant is on this seal here, because this is your blowback seal. You want it to, you want some good seal. Also, I cleaned here, but I did not brush the inside of this, because this needs to stay smooth. Yeah, so that's part one. Failure to prepare is preparation for failure, guys. So those are my tips and tricks for reassembly. and I'll see you on the full reassembly video, where I will try and not babble as much, and hopefully I can get through it. And again, guys, I'm giving you the tips now so that you don't have to comment in the reassembly video. I don't mind comments, but if you just take a few minutes of your time to watch the video, you might not have to comment. Thanks, guys. Stay tuned for part 2.